You grow up and suddenly life feels like a race you never signed up for. You see adults chasing promotions, working late, always looking for the next big thing. Everyone seems to be running, but no one looks truly happy. This is what people call the rat race, a never-ending chase for success and approval. You might think, if I just get that next promotion, I'll finally feel good. But did you know? Research shows that getting a promotion often makes people feel even more stressed. A study found that after a promotion, people's mental health actually gets worse by about %. They feel more pressure, more strain, and less time for themselves. It's like climbing a ladder that never ends. Each step up just reveals another step. This is the trap of adulthood, always chasing, rarely arriving. Why do we do this? A big reason is hustle culture. You hear messages everywhere: work harder, grind longer, never stop. People start to believe that being busy means being important. Exhaustion becomes a badge of honor. But hustle culture is a double-edged sword. It promises happiness if you just work more, but it often delivers stress and emptiness instead. Many people feel guilty if they take a break, like they're doing something wrong. This is called toxic productivity, believing you must always be doing something useful. It makes rest feel like a crime and busyness feel like a virtue. But the truth is, no one can run forever. Work addiction is real, and it hurts more than it helps. People who work too much often get less done, not more. Their health suffers. They get headaches, high blood pressure, and even heart problems. Their minds get tired, their bodies get sick. Burnout is now so common that the World Health Organization calls it a real disease. Burnout means you feel empty, tired, and hopeless about your work. You might feel like you can't focus, can't sleep, or don't care anymore. Burnout doesn't just hurt you, it affects your family, your friends, even your creativity. When you're always working, you have less time and energy for the people you love. Relationships start to suffer. You might become moody, distant, or too tired to connect with your partner or kids. You miss out on the small joys that make life sweet. And your creativity fades because your brain needs rest to dream and imagine. But why do we keep running even when it hurts? There's a psychological law called the hedonic treadmill. It means that no matter how much you achieve, you quickly get used to it. At first, a new job or raise feels great, but soon it just becomes normal. So you chase the next goal and the next, hoping for lasting happiness. But happiness keeps moving out of reach like a carrot on a stick. This is the illusion of arrival, the belief that you'll finally be happy when you reach some future goal. But most people find that when they get there, the feeling doesn't last. So what does Georges Bataille say about all this? He saw that work, as society defines it, can become a trap. He believed that when we focus only on being useful and productive, we lose touch with our deeper selves. Bataille argued that life isn't just about working and producing. He said the most important parts of being human, joy, play, celebration, can't be measured or justified. Work, he warned, can deny us the chance to be truly alive. He invites us to remember that we are more than workers. We are dreamers, creators, and lovers of life. You are not just here to work. You are here to live, to feel, to connect, and to be yourself. Maybe it's time to step off the treadmill and ask what really matters to you. Because you were never born just to run in circles. You were born to be free. Inside every person, there are hidden parts we don't always show. Carl Jung, a famous psychologist, called these hidden parts the shadow. The shadow is made of all the feelings, dreams, and wishes we push down or ignore. Maybe you wanted to play, rest, or create, but you were told to be serious and work instead. So you tucked those wishes away deep inside. But the shadow doesn't disappear. It waits, hoping you'll notice it one day. When you ignore your shadow for too long, it starts to feel heavy. You might notice it as a quiet sadness, a feeling that something is missing. Sometimes it shows up as anger, boredom, or a longing you can't explain. If you keep pushing yourself to work and never listen to your shadow, a crisis can happen. This crisis might look like burnout, where you feel too tired to care. It might be a breakdown, where you can't stop crying or worrying. Or it might be a quiet despair, where every day feels gray and empty. Many people reach this point and wonder, is this all there is? But even in the darkest moments, there is hope. You can begin to listen to your shadow, the lost parts of you that want to come home. You can ask, what did I love before work became everything? Maybe you loved drawing, singing, exploring, or just lying in the grass and watching clouds. These lost joys are still inside you, waiting to be found again. This is called integration, bringing back the parts of yourself you left behind. It means saying yes to play, rest, and creativity, not just work. It means letting yourself be a whole person, not just a worker. There are real stories of people who broke free from work obsession. Some left high-stress jobs to start something simple like a small bakery or garden. Others learned to set boundaries, saying no to extra work and yes to family time. Some found joy in hobbies, volunteering, or just spending time in nature. They all discovered that life feels bigger and brighter when you make space for what you love. Georges Bataille called this embracing uselessness. He believed that not everything in life needs a purpose or a profit. Sometimes the most beautiful moments are the ones that seem useless, like laughing with friends or dancing for no reason. Bataille called this sacred waste, the joy of doing something just because it feels good, not because it's useful. He believed that these moments are what make us truly human. You don't have to earn your right to rest, play, or dream. These things are your birthright. When you let yourself enjoy them, you heal the old wounds inside. You begin to feel whole again. You remember that you are more than your work. You are a person with dreams, feelings, and a heart that needs joy. So what lost part of yourself would you like to welcome back today? What small, joyful thing could you do just for you? This is how the awakening begins, by saying yes to your shadow and yes to your true self. You are allowed to be more than just useful. You are allowed to be alive. The first step to changing your life is to notice what's really happening. Notice when you feel tired, rushed, or empty after a long day of work. Notice the little voice that says you should do more, even when you're already exhausted. Ask yourself, why do I feel like I have to keep going? You don't have to believe every thought that tells you to work harder. You can pause and listen to what you truly need. The next step is to stop justifying your exhaustion. You don't have to prove how tired you are to feel valuable. You don't have to say, I'm busy, so I matter. You can give yourself permission to rest even if nothing is finished. Rest is not a reward for hard work. It's a right. When you feel tired, it's okay to stop and take care of yourself. You are not lazy for needing a break. You are human. Now start affirming your inherent worth. Say to yourself, I am enough even when I am not working. Remind yourself that your value does not depend on your productivity. You are important just because you exist. Try writing down things you like about yourself that have nothing to do with work. Maybe you're kind, creative, or a good friend. These things matter just as much as any job. The next step is to choose your peace over productivity. Ask yourself, what brings me peace? It might be a walk, a quiet moment, or time with someone you love. Make space for these things, even if your to-do list is long. Peace is not something you earn after work. It's something you can choose right now. When you feel pressure to do more, remember that you can also choose to do less. You can say no to extra work that steals your joy. You can say yes to moments that fill you up inside. This is called psychological reframing, changing the way you see yourself and your life. Instead of believing, I am only valuable when I am productive, try believing, I am valuable because I am alive and I deserve to enjoy my life. You can create new beliefs about meaning and value. You can decide that happiness matters more than busyness. You can believe that love, laughter, and rest are just as important as any achievement. Imagine a life beyond work, a life where you wake up excited, not just busy. A life where you have time for your dreams, your friends, and your own heart. A life where you measure your days by joy, not just by tasks. This kind of life is possible, one small step at a time. You don't have to change everything overnight. You can start today with one gentle choice. You can notice, affirm, and choose differently. You can give yourself permission to live, not just work. You are not born to work, you are born to be you. And that is more than enough. The need to go astray, to be destroyed, is an extremely private, distant, passionate, turbulent truth. Georges Bataille, picture this. You wake up, the alarm blares, and before your eyes are even open, your mind is already racing with tasks, deadlines, worries. You drag yourself out of bed not because you're excited, but because you have to. You tell yourself, this is just life. Everyone does it. But is it really? Did you ever stop to wonder, why does it feel like you're living just to work, not working so you can live? Why does every day feel like a repeat of the last, as if you're running on a treadmill that never stops? Let's look at the world for a moment. Did you know that only a small percentage of people worldwide say they feel engaged at work? That means most people are just going through the motions. For most, work isn't a place of joy or meaning. It's just something to survive, and it's not just a feeling. In recent years alone, lost productivity from disengaged workers has cost the global economy hundreds of billions of dollars. Imagine what that means for all the dreams, energy, and creativity lost. A staggering number of workers say they are disengaged or even hate their jobs. That's not a small problem, that's a silent epidemic. Many employees say they are not thriving at work. More than half feel stressed, unhappy, and don't see any purpose in what they do. And it's not just numbers, it's real people, real lives. Maybe you feel it too. You come home tired, not just in your body, but deep in your mind. You wonder if this is all there is. You see the effects in your health. Burnout, headaches, trouble sleeping. You see it in your relationships. Less time, less patience, less joy. Work stress isn't just a buzzword. It's a force that can drain your motivation, your happiness, even your sense of who you are. Burnout is now so common that the World Health Organization calls it an occupational phenomenon. It's not just about being tired. It's a deep, heavy feeling that no amount of sleep can fix. You might feel detached, cynical, even hopeless about your job. You might wonder why you can't just push through like everyone else seems to. But you're not alone. This isn't just your struggle, it's everywhere. Why does this happen? Why do we feel like our worth depends on how much we do, how hard we push, how much we produce? From the time we were kids, we were taught that being good means being busy. We learned to measure ourselves by grades, by gold stars, by how much we could accomplish. We learned that rest is only for the exhausted, that only the useful deserve to exist. As we grew up, the game didn't stop. The tests just changed names. Now they're called deadlines, reports, deliverables. We started to believe that productivity is a kind of morality, that if you're not busy, you're not worthy. But who decided this was the truth? Georges Bataille saw through the illusion. He said, "You are not born to work." He believed that life isn't just about being useful, rational, or productive. He argued that the things that matter most, passion, pleasure, generosity, even waste, are more important than just working to produce. He saw that our obsession with usefulness was killing what's most human in us. He asked, what if the best parts of life are the ones that don't have a purpose at all? What if you are meant to overflow, to experience, to be, not just to function? But somewhere along the way, we lost this wisdom. We started to believe that our value comes from what we can do, what we can show, what we can prove. We stopped asking what makes us feel alive and started asking what makes us look busy. The hidden wound is this. At some point, we began to tie our self-worth to our productivity. We started to think, if I'm not working, I'm not enough. And this belief runs deep. It shapes how we see ourselves, how we treat others, how we live each day. But what if it's not true? What if you were never meant to be just a worker, a producer, a cog in the machine? What if your life is worth more than your output? What if you could reclaim the parts of yourself that don't need to be justified or measured? This is the hidden wisdom of Georges Bataille. You are not born to work. You are born to live, to feel, to create, to connect, to be. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to remember that. When you were small, you learned about the world from the people around you. Your family, your school, your friends, and even the TV taught you what was good and what was bad. They showed you how to act, what to say, and what to dream about. Your parents might have said, work hard and you'll be a success. At school, you were praised for good grades and scolded for mistakes. On TV, you saw heroes who were always busy, always achieving, always winning. All these voices shape the story you tell about yourself. This is called social conditioning. It's how society teaches us its rules. It helps us fit in, but sometimes it teaches us to hide the parts of ourselves that don't fit. From your first steps, you learned that being good often meant being obedient and productive. Maybe you were told, don't waste time, don't daydream, always do your best. Slowly, you started to believe that your value came from what you could do, not just who you are. This is how the worker identity is born. You begin to think, if I work hard, I am good. If I don't, I am lazy. It's like wearing a badge that says, I am only as good as my last achievement. But this badge can get heavy. Psychologists say our sense of self starts forming when we are very young. The family is the first place we learn about love, safety, and worth. If you only got attention when you did something right, you may have learned to chase approval. Maybe you felt invisible unless you were helping, achieving, or behaving. This is your inner child, the part of you that still remembers those first lessons. If you ever felt not enough, that feeling can follow you for years. Sometimes you might not even notice it's there, but it shows up when you feel you must work harder and harder just to be okay. It whispers, you have to earn love. You have to prove yourself. This belief shapes your dreams and your fears. You might dream of being the best, of making your family proud, but you might also fear failing or being seen as lazy or letting people down. You may avoid risks or hide your true self just to keep that feeling away. Studies show that many children grow up with big dreams, doctors, astronauts, artists. But as adults, only a small number actually reach those dreams. A study found that the gap between what kids hope for and what adults achieve is getting bigger every year. Why? Because as we grow, we face limits. Money, opportunity, expectations, and sometimes our own self-doubt. Ambition is shaped by family, culture, and what we see around us. But even if you have big dreams, you might hold yourself back if you feel not enough. Some people after childhood wounds become afraid to try new things or speak up at work. Others work too much, hoping to finally feel good enough, but never quite do. You might notice this in yourself, always busy, always chasing, never resting. You might feel guilty when you take a break or worry you're not doing enough. This is not your fault. It's the result of years of messages, rules, and stories you learned as a child. But here's something important. Your worth is not measured by your productivity. You are valuable just because you exist. You can start to notice these old beliefs and question them. You can remember that the part of you that wants to rest, play, or dream is still there. And it matters. You can heal the old wound by giving yourself the kindness and acceptance you needed as a child. You can choose to see yourself as more than just a worker, more than just what you achieve. You are allowed to be human, to make mistakes, to rest, to be loved for who you are. This is the beginning of changing the story. It starts with seeing how deep the old lessons run and realizing you can write new ones.